Yeah, do you guys see the little record button up in the top
Yeah.
left? Okay,
hmm
just making sure. Are you all ready, Christine?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna start the timer. All right. Okay. Hi, Christine. I'm glad that you could join me today, and I'm excited to get into this coaching session with you. First, I'd like to kick off our coaching journey by um, starting today on establishing a strong coaching agreement. I believe this is an essential step that will guide our coaching relationship. This agreement is the cornerstone of our coaching partnership, assuring we align our expectations and goals. So, before we get started, do I have your permission to record this session? And is there anything specific you'd like to address or any questions you have about the coaching process?
Um, I um, I don't think I have any questions, and I do know what I want to address. Do you want to get started on what my topic is, or what?
Yeah, I just have a little bit more to cover on the coaching agreement just so we know what to expect from each other. So, at its core, this coaching partnership is built on trust, confidentiality, and mutual respect. In coaching, we work together as partners. Everything discussed in our sessions will remain confidential unless there is a situation where I'm ethically obligated to disclose information. How do you feel about this commitment to confidentiality and trust?
I feel good about it.
Okay. And lastly, I just want to remind you that I am not a therapist, meaning I cannot diagnose or treat any mental health conditions. If you are experiencing depression, anxiety, or any other mental health issue, I do advise you to seek treatment from a mental health professional. And that kind of wraps that up. So yeah, I'm super excited to work with you and explore some aspects of goals and challenges. So to start, yeah, is there anything that is maybe weighing on you heavy right now, or something that might keep you from being completely present today?
No.
Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. What did you want to cover today in our session?
Well, I've had a I've taken some time in the last week to really think about what kind of client I want to have as my, for my coaching clients. And I've got a couple different possibilities that I've been really looking into and studying. And so I'd like to just talk through like what would be the best client for me.
Okay.
So so one kind of client so I want to focus on people who are neurodiverse because I feel like that's something I know about. And but then I don't know if I should focus on the early career people who are kind of just getting started as like first time managers, or if I should focus on more senior managers, neurodiverse senior managers. So that's what I'm trying to kind of figure out.
So have you started coaching at all, or do you have any clients as of yet?
I don't actually. I have a client lined up. I have my first client lined up. Actually, I have two clients lined up,
Whoop whoop.
uh, but I haven't started yet. So I'm pretty excited about that, though. I'm
Okay.
very excited about that. I have my first neurodiverse senior executive client lined up.
Well, congratulations. And how do you feel about coaching these two?
I feel pretty good about it. The well, so the senior executive neurodiverse client, I feel pretty good about that because but at least my first client, because I know her very well, and I feel like she can give me really good feedback to get started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. The thing I'm worried about though is that a lot of times senior executives, because that means they're usually pretty old. Or like, and the thing about being old is that neurodiversity, the definition of neurodiversity has changed over the years. So
Mm-hmm.
in the past, like autistic, which is a big thing. Well, Okay, so what can we cover? I could have ADHD people, ADD people, dyslexic people, and autistic people. The thing I know the best is autistic people because that's me. And but the problem with autistic people is that a lot of people who actually are very high, high functioning autistic people who would be senior executives were not diagnosed as autistic when they were kids because the rules have changed. At the time when we were kids, you had to be very dysfunctional to be diagnosed as autistic. Um, but but I think that they're there, but I have to figure out how to get them. How to, now the younger people, like the first time managers, they may well have diagnoses. And I'm seeing that, like I see that in my workplace. Like we have early career people who, I mean, there's like, yeah. And so that's another group. But they have, I mean, the great thing about senior executives is that they have boatloads of money and they just don't, like they don't have time, but they got lots of money. And but then the first time managers, especially in our area, they're pretty broke because like nobody can afford a house. And so because so they're easier to find because they identify, like as the thing that it was easy to identify them as, but they might be hard to like they don't have as much resources.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely see the passion that you have for helping these people, and I love that. I think you should definitely follow your passion, and being a coach and a mentor or even a friend for someone is huge. And so you want to figure out what level you would prefer to coach, right? And it
Yeah.
sounds
What
like,
makes sense? I can't, if I can't find any clients, then it's hard to be a coach.
yeah, totally. And so the two people that you are coaching, one of them is a higher up, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah. And so is the other one as well, or is that a younger?
The other one is high up in their company, but it's a pretty small company.
Okay. Well, I definitely don't think it would be bad to definitely explore more options because you are a first time coach, like you're getting into it, right? So, exploring different avenues is definitely something that can help you learn and your clients learn. Do you have any ideas on how you could possibly reach these clients?
That's a really good question. I think that the way I would reach the earlier career clients is through employee resource groups because that is something, that's kind of gaining in popularity. And like neurodiversity, I started a neurodiversity group in our company. So I think that would be a way because they identify as neurodiverse. And
Hmm.
I mean, and all these things like ADHD, like dyslexia, they're all like much better diagnosed for these young people. So they already, like they make that's a part of their identity. So I'm thinking that would be a good way. Like ERGs would be a good way.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be a little tougher to reach the older people that maybe haven't been diagnosed, right?
Actually, but as we're talking about it, how I think I'd reach him is word of mouth,
Word of mouth.
and I
Mm.
just thought maybe I could focus on like their characteristics, like what, because there are certain kind of defining characteristics that are like, or like kind of like typical problems that, so I was in this program the last 2 weeks and there were three people, two definitely neurodiverse, one potentially neurodiverse, and I could see that the three of us had similar, four actually, because there's another guy that was ADHD and and a senior executive in an oil and gas. He was actually the CEO of an oil and gas company, and like they how I think that we have potentially similar problems, like management problems, like things that we do, like things that we don't do right, or you know what I mean, like things that hold us back. And that might be a way, like, so like, I can, like try to get like, you know, like to say, to one executive, like, hey, do you know anybody, like, or yeah, I don't know quite how to say it, but like do it by referrals, because they could probably see other executives in their company, or that they know perhaps, that, like struggle with the same things.
Okay. Yeah, word of mouth is very strong. I definitely don't think it would hurt to reach out to people, especially that you feel comfortable with, people in your company. I think that would be awesome. Do you see any challenges that might arise when you do try and do this word of mouth?
Well, yes. So one of the things, like, I think I would cast it as something different than neurodiversity, because that has a stigma to it. And especially people who are at the top, that can be kind of dog eat dog. And so, they might, like, not everybody is like all about, like, I'm super open about my, like my weaknesses, my potential weaknesses. And so maybe, you know, looking for people who have attachment issues, like we learned in the last class, learning about that. But that's going to be the hard part, is to really figure out what management challenges, and if I could figure out like specific management challenges, and then I would focus on those management challenges instead of trying to focus, saying I focus on neurodiversity. Actually, I might do, do that, but I have to figure out, I have to really dissect the management challenges, like, so, and then focus on that. Because if I had that for my client base, that would be helpful,
Mm-hmm.
because then I could say, like, I specialize in, managers that, senior managers that are having trouble with overwork. They just don't seem to be able to say no. Like, and I know, like, I feel like that would be it. Like, I could specialize in that clientele.
Totally. Yeah. Um, well, do you see any other alternative strategies for possibly reaching these higher execs or the people that are lower?
Yeah. Like, what are, because, and maybe, like, you could, because I could do both. Because, like, if I could reach the higher executives, because they would see people in their organization. Because it's hard to say to, for even if you're senior executive, you can't say to someone, hey, I think you may have issues, management issues that stem from the fact that you're neurodiverse. Like, you cannot say that, and it's an
Mm-hmm.
executive for like,
Yeah.
like for about 5 reasons, 3 of which you get sued for.
Yeah.
So, but what you can do, they might think that, they probably think that though, they probably think like, wow, man, like, isn't that funny? Like, that gal over there, like, she's doing like the stuff that I did 20 years ago or 10 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And so I'm actually thinking that, not, boy, this is really to maybe not lead with neurodiversity, but instead lead with the management issues. And then use that as a way to, and then like ask, like, get, like, if I could get in like 1 or 2 senior executives, which I kind of have right now, and then like, and then get referrals for the senior executive. Has the other thing is that they can pay for the junior people,
Okay.
like, right, they can't just, that's not that they can just pay for themselves, but they can pay for their own people. So they can say to somebody like, hey, what about coaching? I have a really good coach for you, and by the way, I'll pay for that coaching. I feel like that would be a way,
Yeah.
that that would be a way to get to the more junior people, because the more junior people, like, they don't know the resources,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah.
So, I just want to recap a little bit. So, you're saying a way to maybe reach the juniors would be to go through the executives, right? And
Yeah,
reach out
yeah,
to them
yeah,
first. And you can maybe branch off down into the juniors as well. Is that
yeah.
something that you would want to do, is coach both of them?
Now, as we talk about it, maybe that's what I would want to do, because the other thing that I think is generally true is that companies have a lot more money for coaching than people do.
Mhm.
Like it's just like a different pocket, it's like a different like purse.
Mhm.
And so, and it's a bigger purse. So, yeah, so like that could actually be that could be a strategy.
Yeah, by reaching the execs
Right.
and getting them to pass it down, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But then
recommend.
I wouldn't want to lead with neurodiversity, because that could really put the senior executive in a bad spot, even if that's what I wanted to focus on.
Yeah. So reaching these senior execs, how would you go about that?
I think with that, I would do it with word of mouth.
Word of
Because
mouth.
like, yeah, like one, like it's because then it's like kind of get them, you're gonna get them, like now. But like really like figure out a model where like they identify colleagues where they go, oh man, like I've got a colleague who I go, oh man, I mean, if I could, I just love to see her get some coaching, because I just think I benefited so much, and I think she could benefit just like I did. Like,
Yeah. I
you know yeah, I think
I think
that would be.
sorry. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think word of mouth definitely help. So say you get a new client, or not like secured a new client, right? But you get recommended by someone to someone else, it's another senior exec. How would you get them to take this coaching session from you?
I would. It's a great. Well, hopefully, so hopefully they would they would have talked to, like, so they've got some other trusted colleague that
Mhm.
I'm their coach, and then that trusted colleague says like, hey Joe, this is really good, like this coach has helped me so much, like I think you should go for this coach. Do you have a coach right now? Like you should go for this coach. Reach out to her. Like that would be ideal.
Okay.
If they did something like that.
Okay. Yeah. That I definitely see that. Now, going into you being a coach for these senior execs, do you have a plan or a strategy so far for your two clients that you have lined up right now on how you're going to start coaching them? Maybe like anything going so far?
No, I do not. Well, yes, okay, so kind of. So the one who is the senior executive, who's part of senior service and government, she has issues where she she has some specific things that like had to do with neurodiversity, and um and so she'd like to brainstorm through those things. And so she, I think, believes that my value to her is that I have more training in neurodiversity
Hmm.
than, I know more about it because I spent more time on it than she has. So that would be kind of my value proposition to her, is that I could add facts that she may not know about. That thing, like learning about, neurodiverse wiring compared to neurotypical wiring, and that could help her to understand like why things go in an unexpected direction, and help her surmount those things.
Okay. Yeah.
So
No.
I think that that's my value add, like that I have, and that tells me too, like what I need to study, because, or like what I need to be like really good at
Hmm.
is recognizing things that are sort of uniquely, like that relate to, like how differences in brain wiring can contribute to misunderstandings and, like kind of social wrinkles.
Yeah. It
Like
definitely,
I could help with that, because I think that is all. It could be definitely core competency for me.
I think that's a huge first step is definitely doing your research, and it sounds like you have done your research on your clients, which is amazing. And I think you're going to do amazing with these clients. You're going to educate them while also being a great support for them. So I think that is an awesome first step. And I think that having these two senior execs to start off with is going to be very powerful for you. And being able to maybe go through word of mouth from them and be able to branch off and see whether you like to coach these higher up seniors is going to be a great experience. And then maybe if you want, you can branch off and see if you like to coach the younger people.
I think, and the other thing that I can offer is that I developed a class with 3 other psychologists on neurodiverse communication, and I could offer that to their teams. That would be another value add I could do. Because that would be a way also, if I could get like that they would, like let me do that class for people,
Mm-hmm.
then that would be a way to, because I could kind of advertise in the class like, hey, we offer one-on-one coaching. If you feel like this is a concern for you, and that hits managers of neurodiverse people and neurodiverse people who are managers. So actually, that would be a part of my offering. Oh, this is very helpful. This is like super helpful.
That sounds like a great avenue to explore. Definitely sounds like you can get a lot of attraction and a lot of new clients through that. So definitely encourage you to seek that out and make it happen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe think of some ways that you can get that started. And yeah, definitely explore the challenges that are going to arise there and yeah, work through that. So it does look like we are approaching the end of our coaching session. Um, I just want to let you know that I am always available on my phone or email, that I think you have both now. Is there anything else you would like to talk about as our session closes?
I think we're good. Thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
really
thank
helpful.
you. All right.
All right.
Okay. This is great. Um, I like I like that you started again with the coaching agreement was very strong. I think that you've done a good job on defining your coaching agreement and that takes priority because that's important. And so especially with some of the issues that have been happening about like what is therapy, is it coaching, and I don't remember, there was an article about it. And so I think now we have to be more careful about coaching agreements. So good job, Ben. What do you think, Christine?
I love that. I thought that was really good. Like really good. Like I want to copy you. I thought it was fantastic.
Take it by all means.
Yeah, it was good. Um, so correct me if I'm wrong in what you think, Ben. So I feel so while I was listening, I feel that Christine was like ready for action, let's go to town. And so she was just like with all of this, and I can see, in your body language and your face that you have all these thoughts. And so I am wondering if for a little bit it was confusing to you a little bit or not. Um
It definitely took me a second to understand exactly. Like I should have asked probably a little bit more questions because I didn't understand um the neuro stuff.
Diversity.
Yeah, and like that stuff. And I was just like, okay, but like I understood that you wanted to coach either higher ups or like people just starting businesses or corporations or anything like that. Um, Yeah, and I definitely saw the interest was definitely there, a lot of passion for that. So I think I could have been more adamant about asking questions so I could better understand before we dove into
Okay. Yeah. It's hard with 20 minutes too.
that.
You
It just
know, I
goes
think
by
that's
like
super
nothing.
challenging.
It goes so quick that,
I know.
yeah, it just feels like, because you want to make sure that you understand, but also you give time to your client. And I think as a coach, you also don't know everything, so it's kind of like, okay, a little clarification or something like that. But to me, you did a fantastic job. Like, I feel that at the beginning I was just like trying to see like where it was going, but yet, um more towards the middle, I feel that you started like giving questions to her that, she was able to organize her ideas. Because I think Christine had a lot of ideas. And so it was about asking questions on how to organize what she was thinking. It wasn't like looking for solutions or anything necessarily, but how can I organize my ideas so I can promote myself as a coach? Like,
Hmm.
Well, like what I learned in this session that was new is that I did not have an idea that, wait,
mhm,
I want to do both. I don't want to do one or the other. I came into this session honestly going like, should I focus on this one or this one? And then like as you were coaching me, I had
mhm.
that aha, like, wait, no. I want to have one senior one that will give me 20 junior ones. And like I just didn't appreciate that as we were talking that somehow the way the way the whole thing worked out that was an aha that I got that was new.
Yeah, that's very good because um I saw Ben didn't give you any solutions or anything. Because if I'm correct, you came in saying, I want to know what kind of people do I want to coach, pretty much,
Yes, A
right?
or B. Yeah,
A or B. And I was wondering, out of our readings and everything, like, do you truly get that choice? And something that Ben says, like, well, if you're going to be a coach, you're not going to be able to coach just the specifics or something like that. And I was like, okay. um but she needs to figure that out.
Yeah.
And so, but you did a good job to guide her and just let her, because I feel like for Christine today was more of a sounding board that you needed, that can guide you to organize your ideas. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's how it sounded, the conversation, the coaching time. So I don't know. I feel that Ben was very supportive and kind of like tried to double check and understand where you were going from and give you affirmations and acknowledge your strength. And I feel like he did a fantastic job helping you organize your ideas. So I think, yeah, he
and
was,
something that you weren't like Ben, it's something that you didn't like know that much about. That was such a cool thing of your coaching, right? Because like I've been like this is like spinning around in my mind, giving this a lot of thought, or disorganized thought, but a lot of thought. you know and so that was it's very encouraging to me, Ben, that you were so effective on me, you know what I mean, because
Yeah.
like when I'm coaching I feel like that's like I worry about that, that I could do what you just did. That was really neat.
Yeah, I noticed that you had a lot on your mind, a lot going on with this specific topic. And sometimes I feel like people just need to get it out, like, and then they can start putting it together by maybe even talking to someone. And I definitely could have asked some more questions to get a better understanding of what it was. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to help and listen.
yeah, the time is so limited, but you did a fantastic job, Ben. Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. Okay, all right, now is it my turn to coach?
Yes.
Okay, and I am coaching
Rosa.
Ben.
Rosa.
Rosa, I'm coaching Rosa. Okay. Okay, let's get started. Okay. You know what? I'm going to hold on just a moment. I just want to get my timer going so I have an idea. And if I do my phone, it'll like.
I should mute myself.
Okay. Great.
Hmm.
All right. Are we ready to start?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Christine.
How are you today?
Good. Very good.
Do you have any like, emergency things or 911s that you're just kind of that might distract you or that that you kind of feel like are kind of emergency things for you to take care of or talk about today?
No, today I'm being able to be fully present.
Excellent. So I want to make sure that we are on the same page in our, with our expectations and goals about coaching. Do you feel like you understand what the coaching process is all about?
Yes, that's correct.
And so I do you have any questions about our coaching, what we're doing in coaching?
No, it's still good. I think the agreement that we did at the beginning was very clear.
Excellent. And then, so just to remind you that our coaching is confidential. So I will not share this with anyone. I will not share my notes with anyone unless I'm ethically required to disclose or ethically or legally required to disclose that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing is that we are recording this session. So are you okay with recording this?
Yes, that works.
Excellent. And finally, I am not a therapist. This is a coaching session. And so I cannot diagnose or treat any mental health conditions. If you feel that you have a mental health condition, then you need to, seek that mental health, specific mental health resources. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So what do you have in mind to talk about today?
Okay, so I am having issues with organizing my life. And so I'm trying to figure it out. I started very good at the beginning of the year, and I just, with so much work, I feel that my work life is very organized, and I know where and what, but I feel that to blend it with my personal life has been very difficult, especially in the last 6 months, especially having having added school to the picture. And so I'm trying, and also I had an injury, so I'm trying to figure it out how to organize my schedule, but that can be, what is that word, like achievable, like not just, okay, I'm gonna do it, but then I don't do anything, right? And so I need to make sure that I have the right meals, that I can have time for working out, and then I have time, for myself. And yeah, I feel that my plate is all over the place, and I'm at the point when I'm just so exhausted that I come back from work and it's like, do I really want to go work out? Do I really want to cook? So I'm trying to figure out what can be a good motivation for me to just do do all the things that I need to do. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I'm curious about, like, if you have you ever experienced this in other in other ways in your life? Like, does this show up in other ways? Is this kind of like, just happen, like this is like the first time this has happened, or is this kind of, or like has this happened, like other times? You know what I mean?
Well, I feel that it has before when I was in college, but
Yeah.
because when you're in college, you have so many things to do and it's a schedule like set for you to just go, 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 go. And I feel that there is not specifically a schedule because my job is not a 9 to 5 kind of job. It's different. And so my work schedule is all over the place. So for me, sometimes to be able to have a workout or to, I just don't have, I think I don't have good boundaries about um I cannot do this because I have to go to work out or I need to separate to cook or something like that.
That's
So
a, that, I'm sorry.
so I wouldn't say necessarily has happened before. So I don't know.
So I'm kind of curious, you mentioned something about boundaries. Do you, if you think back, when you were, can, if you think back about different things when you were a kid or, kind of younger, what, was it ever hard to keep boundaries? Like, was it ever hard to say no?
Well, yeah. I think that is a difficult question because I come from a culture where the elderly or the adults will tell you something and you don't have an option to say no. You have to um you have to follow what your culture is and how they raise you to respect the elder. And if they tell you do this, you go and do it. So I will say with friends, I guess. Um Maybe not so much, but I think
It kind of sounds like with your elders. I mean, I feel that I kind of was raised a little in that direction too. That, like, I think it sounds like you are kind of saying that it were for those people, those authority figures, it was pretty hard to say no.
I mean, yeah, of course, like because you're raised in that way. You're not, you try to serve and do as much as you can. And it's even if you're burnt out, you cannot just say no. You're called to serve in a way.
Well, because like if you were like with like if we're talking about your elders, like if you were really tired as a kid, or just there was something, like you were really hungry or you were really something, and like your elder relative asked you to do something, what would that have looked like? What
Say it
would you,
again.
like, let's say like you're just like you're tired out, man, you were playing and you're really tired or you're really hungry, and some like your elder relative ask you to ask you to do something, like what did that contract look like what did you do as a kid?
Well, I guess it depends, right? If they're like, oh, let's go to the market for this, it's like, okay, let's go. Like there is not so much of like, I don't want to. It's mostly like, okay, let's go. Does that answer your question? I don't
It
know.
does, it does. So it sounds like in that scenario there's kind of a contract, like a social contract. And I don't know if it's the same for you as for me, but it sounds like when you're saying it's a kind of a social contract that's saying if they say let's go to the market, like as a kid, you didn't ask a bunch of questions to yourself like, am I hungry? Do I need to take care of myself in some way? You say, okay, let's go. Because like that's what you did. That's the expectation. Is that true?
Um,
Or not?
I guess so, but it doesn't, but it didn't necessarily feel in that way. It didn't feel like a contract. It's just like those are the values that you're raised with, so you just follow them. I wouldn't say it's a contract. I will say there's a there's an honor and respect that goes to adults or elders than you, so you just follow. I mean, I don't know.
Do you feel like, because you work for the church,
Yeah.
which is pretty honored and respected for me, I mean, and I'm guessing for you. Do you
Yeah.
wonder, you like, like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna, I don't know. Or not. Maybe that line doesn't make sense. Like I had like a thought, but maybe that, I don't know. What do you think about that?
About me working for the church, if
Or
that,
like, is there any relationship between like what the church is like, or like, in terms of the honor and respect in your heart for the church, like when it asks you to do things, and like your family? Or is that not a connection? That's just you know what I mean? Like that may not be a connection either. I'm just asking.
I wouldn't say so, because for my job, I mean, there are things on my job that I need to have some boundaries, with, but I will say, um, because of my job is a position that I'm in, who I am the expert, and I get to equip leaders or pastors, then there is a respect, but it's not necessarily they can tell me what to do, because my job is pretty much to tell them what you need to do in order to do this and that, right? And so there's always respect, but I think that my job is at a place where I can interact with pastors and tell them what I think, and they respect. Um, so I wouldn't say it's the same.
Huh. Well, what do you think? What do you think is um what do you think is stopping you on you know kind of blending all these, all like your work and in school and getting stuff done? Like, what do you think is the most important factor?
What do I think is the most important factor? What do you mean? Like,
Like what makes that hard?
what makes it hard?
I mean, other than the fact that, like it's like, there's a lot of stuff to do. Like how 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 can you, do you have thoughts on like, well, let me ask you this, like what would it look like if it was perfect?
If my schedule will be perfect, or like in just like with
Like things were
work and
just
life?
flowing, like things were flowing.
If the ideal, I will say, will be um to be able to wake up early enough that I can get that I can eat, that I then can work out, and then I can start with my day, like get ready to go, and just but that I have that I yeah, that I can go to work and come back and know that I'm gonna have enough time to whether cook, or I'm not gonna be too tired to be just like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed, and then to take a nap, so then I can wake up so I can do my homework, right? Like trying to I think everything is important, but how can be prioritized? It's the issue, or like problem that I'm having.
How do you think you could like if you were to think about prioritizing, like what would that look like? Like how would you think about prioritizing?
I think that I really need to start prioritizing like my health, which is like my physical and mental health, in order to last through the day, because I feel that I've been just very overwhelmed. And as much as I love my job, I feel overwhelmed most of the time because there is not a time frame specific. And so I guess I need maybe plan week to by week. So like that, um, maybe it can be a successful week rather than thinking about a month. I need to focus on the week by week. So
Oh,
like
yeah,
that, I could um
great.
start being able to work out and like to eat uh the right food and then to be able to do work and not because I guess like focusing on the big picture, which it will be a month, it's difficult with having a job that is not a Monday through Friday, a 9 to 5, but rather it's all over the place.
That sounds great. I mean, that sounds so, so you're like doing weekly. What I heard is that you're gonna kind of focus on like just in a week, kind of focus on your health for that week. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think so because I feel that when I focus for the whole like I do my whole plan of like this is how it's going to go for the month, right? Or 3 months.
Hmm.
And I have a gym membership where there's 1 5 minutes from me and then 1 10 minutes from me. So I can go to either one. And
Hmm.
so there are times when they have classes in here that I can go, but then something comes out from work and I'm like, okay, I guess I cannot work out today. And so it moves like that. So I think making a schedule where I have different options and I make sure that I plan by week can be, I guess, beneficial um for me rather than making my whole schedule and getting excited and then not being able to do it because my job, I have something to do or a person that I needed to talk to, and I just have to be later at work and stuff like that.
So maybe like if you kind of thought about it and like, like kind of like in week chunks and then gave yourself options, is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Giving myself options. Yeah, because I also want to get enough sleep, right? And it's hard with sometimes, I mean, now I'm done with some jobs where one of my jobs was in Venice and I didn't get home until 10:30. And by the
Mhm.
time I was in bed, it was 11. And I was trying to check for homework and it's like midnight. And how can I wake up early enough the next day to go work out, for example? Right. So trying to figure out, okay, how am I gonna do this? And I think it may it may it could be simple to some, but when you are like driving and you are exhausted and tired, it's just like, should I just lay in my bed or should I get up? Right. And so I think that is my frustration and like having to figure out how to maybe go week. I think it's like the solution will be like going week by week rather than month by month because I think that's what I've been doing, like going by month and just feeling defeated because I haven't been able to accomplish anything. So
Hold on, let me ask you this. Like, if you were gonna do it for homework next week, like if you were gonna do like one thing that you could just say, like, I'm gonna do that today. Like what could you do to kind of make, like to make yours that flexible week, like one thing that you could kind of commit to that would allow you to kind of still be flexible because you got to drive around a lot and it's like it's just hard to get everything done without in sleep. You know what I mean? Like what was one thing you could do this week, you think?
this coming week,
Yeah.
well, and that's the complicated thing, because on Sunday I start a conference and then I'm done on Tuesday and then it's Thanksgiving. And so it just throws everything off. And every time when I have to drive somewhere or go for a conference, it just throws my whole schedule off. So I think I need to have like a backup plan that allows me to be okay. Like even if you have a conference, like let's figure out what can you do, like whether work out at the hotel or like be able to figure out a decent meal that is healthier, rather than whatever you eat when you're with your coworkers or something like that, right? Yeah.
So those like are any of those things, would you be thinking, like think you could do one of those things kind of as homework to eat a decent meal or like figure out how to work in the hotel at your conference?
Yeah, I think that I can add waking up early enough to work out at the hotel, but also have to figure it out, like sometimes when I go into conference and you see people, it's like, oh, let's go and do this, and then you're out until pretty late. So figuring that out, I think um it's something that you don't do just, well, this is going to be my schedule. It's like, okay, well, what is happening? And it's 3 days. So, it makes it difficult. So I guess trying to eat a decent meal will be more attainable than working out.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds great. I mean, like, right? I mean, that's one thing.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that could be a small goal that can be accomplished and feel like I've done something rather than nothing.
I mean, what do you think? Is there anything else you'd like to kind of cover or like, I don't know, like just think about before our time is just about up. Is that
Um,
be helpful?
no, I think it's good. We cover good
Okay.
things for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Christine.
All right.
Okay. Good job, guys. So I definitely think, Christine, you definitely finished very strong towards the end. I love the kind of like giving it homework, like one thing to build off of. I'm definitely gonna try and use that in my coaching sessions because I think that's strong to give um the client something to think about, especially in between sessions, right? Um, I think at the beginning there was a bit of a drift from her main goal. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Oh, I did, and actually, I was trying to like, I don't know, I was trying to connect with like, because I feel like that's a weakness for me is that I don't connect with deeper things, and I was trying to do that, but I didn't think it worked. And I was like, oh. Anyways, I'd love to get coaching or feedback from you guys, like, because I feel like it didn't go well. Like it did connect for you, Rosa, and like, what do you think? Like,
I mean, I was a little confused
mm,
because one, you didn't, I think you didn't check with me about, like, okay, so we're trying to figure it out this, right?
oh, okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
And so I think, and when I say I feel like when I say the word boundaries, you immediately jump into the boundary area rather than the main goal of the session. And so at least from my perspective,
Okay,
I, I was just like a little confused of why we were going towards that way when I was hoping to be guided towards another way, which you did very good by the end, towards the end, like giving me like small homework and stuff like that, and just trying to think of like, why don't I plan for a week, like the week that was kind of like the aha part for me, like, but
okay, that's helpful because it didn't like make sense. Like I didn't frame it, so it didn't make sense to you. Like, why did I just go off on boundaries? Because that wasn't your question.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's
Mhm.
helpful. Thank you.
But yeah, besides like the drift, I think you definitely validated Rosa's feelings. You were definitely you had some powerful thoughts, definitely. And I think maybe you could have worded them a little bit better. It seemed like Rosa was a little bit confused at times.
Yeah.
but I definitely saw the wheels turning and your thoughts were there, but the questions just weren't constructed, to let her fully comprehend.
That was good. Do you have any specific? I mean, I know that like it's all fast and fast, but I'd like to know. I'd like to learn better on that. You know.
I think you were talking when you kind of got back on track about asking her about like what her ideal like week would look like.
Mhm.
Like I could tell that you wanted to go there. It just was kind of hard to get out, or like a little bit
Okay.
clear.
Thank you. Yeah.
But other than that, I think like you definitely were attuned and you were listening and you did like a good job at paying attention to her and being there supportive.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Good.
Okay. Is it now the
You're coaching me now.
okay, good. I was just like, is there something to add? Okay. So it will be Ben. Okay. Are you ready, Ben?
I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. Hi, Ben.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good today.
Good. Well, once again, nice to see you for a coaching session. I want to make sure that you have remember our coaching agreement. Just to remind you that here we have a relationship based in trust, confidentiality, and mutual respect. And also, I will take notes for our meeting. In case you want them to be shared, they will be shared. If not, I will just keep it. And if you would like me to give it to you at the end of our meeting, I can give you my scripts, but I can also email you the information. Also, just to remind you that this meeting is recorded, and I want to make sure that you're okay with that.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And that this session is a coaching session, which means I'm here to guide you and to support you in anything that I can. This is not a counseling session. I don't do any medical practice or have the ability to prescribe anything. So in case that you are going through anxiety, depression, please make sure that you use the resources that we give you just in case you were to need something. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Perfect. Do you have any 911s or emergencies for today that will distract you from our session?
No, I think I'm all clear today.
Awesome. Okay. So what would you like to work on today, Ben?
So I think a goal of mine that I want to work towards and kind of figure out a little bit more is um so I am trying to be a coach as well, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
Um I I just don't know how to go about finding clients, I guess. Like um yeah, I'm just lost on like I want to be able to coach people, and I don't want to coach like my friends, like my really close friends or like family
Mm.
members because like obviously I could reach out to them and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, of course, like coach me." Like I want to like actually find like, clients. And I
Like
just
real clients.
yeah, and I just don't know how to go about that at all. So I think a goal for me definitely during this session would to maybe have like a plan or a strategy to maybe reach out or find some clients or like, you know,
Okay, so if I understand correctly, you would like to strategize how to find clients, like how to market yourself to get clients that are not your relatives or friends, or your immediate circle, correct?
Yeah, I think marketing myself is a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So um let's look back at to you say you want to coach.
Mhm.
Have you been able to define um what kind of coach you are, or what kind of people do you want to coach? Um
Yeah. So um I actually just started like sports coaching for some youth lacrosse programs
yeah.
in Irvine. So like I guess that's one sort of coaching that I was able to jump into, and it's been a lot of fun, like being able to like pass down my wisdom, I guess, of the sport of lacrosse to like these young kids. And I can definitely see like they want to learn, like people like genuinely like want to learn. And it's nice being able to be there for someone and support them and watch them grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to expand that off of lacrosse, and I want to be like a personal like coach for someone, or like a personal support system. Kind of, I guess I would put it like just like not sports related now. I like want to be able to coach people on like life, or help them going through whatever that they might be going through in their life, like being able to help them through that.
So a life coach.
Yeah.
Okay, correct. And then um I love that you've been experiencing already with sports coaching, because it allows you to see that picture and also look at your strengths of being a coach.
Mhm.
So could you share with me what have you learned about you as a coach through what you're doing right now that could be beneficial and help you promote for you to be a life coach?
Yeah. So let me think about this a little bit. Um, so I definitely was nervous, even though they're like youth kids, like I'm doing fourth grade through eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still pretty young. And I was nervous. I was like, I don't know what to expect. Like maybe they don't want to learn, or like maybe I can't teach them anything. But I've learned just like being around them and being supportive towards them, and like not discouraging them when they make mistakes, makes like these kids feel more comfortable around you. And then they start to come back to you, and they open up once they see that you're actually there to help them.
Mm-hmm.
They start asking you questions instead of just like being shy or making the mistake and just like pretending like it didn't happen. So one thing that I do see is um being supportive, and being like non judgmental, just kind of being there for them, like alongside them, has been
Mm-hmm.
really eye-opening to me. And I've been able to, when they ask me a question, I'm able to answer it, and I'm able to like show them what I know. And it helps them, I think.
Okay. So let's play a little scenario of you being the coach. And so if say that we're not friends, you just say I'm a parent of one of the kids and we're having a conversation, and you kind of like share you're trying to promote yourself, so you share with me that you are doing coaching. How would you share with me that maybe I can be a potential client for you?
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's where I get like kind of jumbled up, because I'm like, I don't like um I don't know. Like would it be smart to be like, hey, like so you're pretending to be like one of the kids, right?
One of the mom of the kids, because you told me that you want to focus on life coaching, right?
Yeah. Or yeah.
Okay. And so you are coaching my kid for lacrosse.
Okay.
But we've been having a conversation and you kind of thought like, oh, life coaching can be beneficial for this person. So how can, whether you become my coach or not, how can you guide me towards looking at coaching as a potential thing for me to look into?
Like marketing myself.
Marketing yourself or marketing the idea of having a coach.
Uh-huh. Um, hmm. Uh, oh God, that's nervous to think about. Like, um, it's yeah, I'd probably um tell them that, like having a coach is not only like it doesn't just uh not just kids need coaches, like having support there in any aspect of life can be huge for anyone. And that's really what I'm working to become.
Mhm.
And I'm learning a lot from these kids, a lot more than I thought I'd learn. And yeah, oh God, I guess that's a start.
That- That's
Um,
okay. Okay, so I think that what I observe is that we probably would like to define like why do you want to coach? One. And then two, what are your strengths to be, for example, my coach, right? What can you um help me with? You have mentioned supportive and non-judgmental, but what are your strengths that will guide me in a coaching journey? And so you say you want to market yourself. And
mhm,
so if we're looking into marketing yourself, like what is your strength? What is your aim? What is the strategy that you will use to, guide me? So maybe we can divide that in our sessions until we can discover like all the different things. So maybe we can work on something like a one pager to define you as a coach. What will be your strategies, your values as a coach, what is your aim, and so
mhm.
like that when you market yourself, it's easier and you can just go with, this is my passion, this is why I'm a coach, and this is what can I bring to the table in a way.
Yeah, I really like what you said, like dividing it up, So what was it was strengths, right?
Mhm. What is your aim, for
Your
example?
aim, strengths, and what else is there?
Your values as a coach
Values. Okay. Yeah. No, I
and your
think
strategy to guide me.
I think breaking it up into sections actually makes it a lot more clear in my head. Like if I wanted to market myself, like these are what I bring to the table, Like this
Mhm.
is why
Yeah.
this would be beneficial for you.
Hmm. Hmm. Perfect. So what of all the things, so we talk about your aim, your strengths, values, strategy, how you will do it.
Mhm.
So is can we work on one of those today?
Um, yeah, let's talk about like the aim, like what I'm
Okay.
aiming to do, right?
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So my aim is to be like a support system, right? Is to be like someone there for you that will help you through the struggles that you might face. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, guess that would be a start. Yeah. I'm aiming to be a support system for you, to help guide you through, I don't know, any struggles you might face in your life.
Okay, so how can we make that a more directive, like a one sentence that it just tells me what is your aim? So I'm gonna give you an example. So like that, it kind of gives you an idea of what are we looking for. So
Okay.
for example, I work for a ministry and our aim is to equip congregations to build the kingdom of God. So that is our aim, to equip congregations that build the kingdom of God. So just thinking about like, it's, if I tell you that, it's just like immediately, oh, okay, I know what you're doing, correct? Okay, so in that way, how can you tell me something, a message like this, that it will be like, oh, okay, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, so like a motto, I guess. So my aim is to be a support system that helps guide you through the challenges of everyday life.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so you want to be a coach that it's a support system that guides clients
Mhm.
through the challenges of life, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Okay, perfect. And so as you have that, hopefully you can take note of what, you got that. So like that for our coming sessions, we can work, and you can let me know, let's work on my values. What are my values? And then we can move into strategies, or like, all that, your strengths as a coach. Our session is almost till the end.
Mhm.
So I will say that make a note about the different
Yeah.
things that we've talked. So at the end, after, I don't know, maybe next week we can work on two things or one thing, depending on what you want, maybe guidance more towards what are your values or what are your strengths, or if you want to do homework and in a way figure that out, something that blends well with your aim, so like that by the end we can have a one page where you can market yourself, and it's just, this is who I am, and this is what I want to coach, and this is how I'm going to do it. Is that
I
Does
think
that sound good to you?
I think that's a great plan of action, and definitely gives me an idea of where I need to get to, and will give me a better picture of how to be like the coach that I want to be.
Okay,
So
awesome.
thank you.
Did you have any questions or something that you would like to do before we end our session?
I think I got a lot of homework to do.
That's good.
Good homework. Good homework.
I'm glad. Thank you for coming today, Ben. It was great having you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rosa.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, Christine, your turn.
Awesome. That was super good. And I have questions, like so many questions. Okay, maybe not so many, but anyways, awesome job. I think that, like, so number one, meeting ethical guidelines, great. That was perfect. Creating the coaching agreement, I thought that you did a great job of attuning and restating the client's goals, and great job, defining what the client believes they, like their goals, and then great job continuing the conversation in the direction that the client, in the client's direction. That was really good. Co-creating the relationship. I thought your facial expressions and body language, Rosa, showed like great support for your client. That was really good. Coaching presence. you were responsive, I thought, to, like, to Ben, like Ben as a person. I didn't think Ben had like a big energy. Well, you did have a big energy shift at the end, which is great. And that, and so, but I think that your energy moved with Ben, and that was really neat. Yeah. That was really good, how your energy moved with Ben's shift at the end of the thing. I think you definitely showed a for you stance. That was excellent. You were for him. And also you let okay, so but my question is, okay, so then, did so the on 4.8, coach partners with the client by encouraging the client to formulate his or her own learning. I feel like you did do that. You did do that pretty well too, because I feel like, Ben, you got something out of it. Did you think that she did that well?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think she guided it well into, like, I didn't know exactly what it looked like to me. And then she gave me an example, which
Okay.
was like perfect. And it showed me kind of a path that I could use.
Okay, that's good. Okay. And then so gave an example when he got confused. And then okay, so then and then active listening, your questions and observations were definitely customized to Ben and the situation. That was really good. You did a great job in getting Ben to make one sentence. That was amazing how he was able to do that, like within the session, like pretty quickly. That was really neat, Ben. And I thought that you seemed to be very happy with the homework at the ending.
Yeah,
Did you feel pretty happy about that homework?
totally. Yeah.
Now, then good question. Okay, good question around how could I be a potential client for you? I like how I thought that was really productive. That really helped him. And the questions were open ended. The great question was, why do you want to coach, and what are your strengths as a coach? I thought those were great questions. Really, those were great. Now the question that I had was, when you were talking about making a marketing plan, which is, I think, excellent advice, did that go into consulting? I don't know. Like, I mean, what do you guys think about that? How do you feel about that?
I don't know how it would go into consulting.
Like, because like in consulting, like if Rosa was like a marketing consultant, or like a coach development consultant, like those are like, that's like excellent. And so this is where I'm confused about the role of a coach. I actually want to ask Mika about this. Like, I felt that was tremendous value add for Ben. And I don't know whether we're supposed to do that, as coaches, like, I mean, I ask myself, like, if you have that expertise to offer him, like the steps, but like, are we supposed to do that as coaches? Like, how does what do you think about that?
I liked it. I think, I think if it helps the client, then it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think I don't think I went into consulting. I think I was trying to find a definition of, like, I don't think I went into any specifics of marketing because I don't know marketing. But more of like defining, I know about like how to define your ministry, right? So I kind of thought in the idea of like, how can he define himself? And that's why I did first kind of like an assessment example to figure it out if he had in any way any idea of like how he wants to promote himself. Because if he had all the different things and he had thought it about it, then it will be like, okay, so like let's guide you and organize you. But what I saw was that, okay, no, I haven't defined myself yet, I don't know these different things, so then that's why let's divide it in stages. So I don't know if that will be consulting, because I did not tell him technically what to do. I just give him a frame of that he can use, a tool for him to use
You
to
gave him a
define,
tool.
to
Yeah.
define, so then he can use it, that will guide him to, promote himself or marking himself better.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm really asking that because I was just,
Yeah.
I say this because I was doing communication consulting, like yesterday for my job. And I was
Mhm.
like, wow, like, what's the difference between, like offering, I thought that was great consulting. I was like, that's really good. Because I was like giving this other guy, consulting advice for this kernel. Like, how do you approach this kernel? And
Mhm.
and so that's why it's like on my mind. I don't, like, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
I would like to know for myself, like how do I know if I'm slipping into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Micah will, I mean, hopefully we all can be at the last class, I think, because we only get 3. But
Yeah.
I think we all get one session with her. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
gone through your session, that you can like ask on a
Yeah.
deeper level about that, right? And
Yeah.
she may be able to look into our session and see what we've done. So
Yeah.
Hey guys, I have to be out of here by 5.
Okay. I think we're good.
Is
yeah,
that, are we good? Yeah. I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
sorry.
Could you
I
just send
thought
that
that
out
was,
to us?
yeah, I'll create it into a YouTube and send it to you guys.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry that I was late.
No, you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you guys. This was great.
All right. Bye guys.
Bye.